live then to the Élysée Palace. Talk to our reporter Claire Paccalin, who joins us from there. Claire, is this delay then good or bad for Macron? I mean, there's many accusations now, really, that he's just continuing to play for time, aren't there?
Well, certainly the French President Emmanuel Macron has set himself a very difficult criteria to fulfill. He wants to name a prime minister who will get the support of a very divided, hung parliament here in France. Emmanuel Macron wants to name someone who will survive any possible votes of no confidence down the line. That's why he rejected the choice of the new Popular Front, the left-wing coalition. They had chosen Lucie Castet as their candidate, and Emmanuel Macron said that he felt that she would be immediately voted out in a vote of no confidence by Parliament, and that for the sake of institutional stability, he was not going to choose her, not going to name her as the next Prime Minister. So that really leaves us with a situation whereby Emmanuel Macron is vulnerable to criticism that he's not accepted, that his party did not win those snap parliamentary elections that he called in the early summer. The left-wing alliance, they got the most seats in those elections, but were more than 100 seats short of a majority. The far right made gains. It was also far short of a majority. And Emmanuel Macron, at best, looking indecisive, at worst, looking like he's not accepted, that he will have to choose a prime minister who is not in line with his own political policies.
Claire, we've had two sort of most likely candidates, if you like, this week. That's the right-wing former Minister Xavier Bertrand, the former socialist Prime Minister Bernard Cazeneuve as well. But we're also hearing speculation now about yet another potential candidate, aren't we?
Michel Barnier, who's very well known here in France, very experienced politician. He was first elected to the National Assembly, to the lower house of Parliament in 1978. He has been in politics all of his working life. He was actually a minister in a cohabitation period in the 90s. So cohabitation is when you have a president from one side of the political spectrum and that president does not have a majority in Parliament. And so the president is obliged to choose a prime minister from the opposition, and that's what we had. And so Michel Barnier knows from 1993 to 1995, when François Mitterrand was president, he had to choose Edouard Balladur, who was on the other side of the political spectrum, and we had a situation of cohabitation. This is different, though, because Emmanuel Macron has made clear that no one really won those elections, in those parliamentary elections in the early summer. No one has a clear majority in Parliament. So that's why it's tricky to choose that right Prime Minister. But Michel Barnier certainly does command some respect here in France for all the years he's had in politics. And also he's known outside France as well, because he was, of course, the chief negotiator on behalf of the European Union as Britain made its exit from the European Union. He's certainly seen as someone who was a tough negotiator, drove a hard bargain with the British, and that, of course, went down well here in France.
Claire, thanks very much. Claire Paccalin joining us there from a very rainy Élysée Palace in the centre of Paris. Thanks very much.